Because we have to be aware of one thing in terms of how these reforms are being received and how liberalisation is being received. It's being seen as a copy-paste version of Europe, in that those advocates of liberalisation are seeking to establish almost another quasi-European state in Saudi Arabia. I say this because the European version of liberalisation emerged in the aftermath of the bitter war with the church, and as a result it relegated the religious influence to the personal and private sphere. The Arab world or the Islamic world has no equivalent of this war, this bitter, traumatic war that Europe went through. In other words, Islam in the Arab world and the Islamic world is considered akin to prosperity, to glory, to everything associated with the Golden Age. So when Mohammed bin Salman is bringing in concepts from Europe, from America, when it's being pushed by the US, by Europeans, by liberal activists, there is a sort of reservation amongst Arab society in general, not just Mohammed bin Salman. So even if Mohammed bin Salman wants to implement these measures, he's very wary that there will be a backlash. You have to remember that in Arab society, they are taught that it is the pious Saladin who conquered Jerusalem. It is the pious Ibn Sina who was the father of medicine. It was the pious Abu Hamid al-Ghazali who inspired St. Thomas Aquinas, who inspired Adam Smith, the father of economics. It was the pious Al-Jabir who established algebra. In other words, it's all to do with religion. So when Mohammed bin Salman is talking about liberalization, talking about moderate Islam, talking about a more tolerant Islam, this is rhetoric that is dominant in Europe and in the US, and it has been received with much reservation in the Arab world. We should be aware that there are some very important signs about the resistance to liberalization that is taking place in the Arab world. Think about the elections after the Arab Spring. In the first free and fair elections, who dominated? It was Islamist-leaning parties. They're the ones who dominated. The liberals were very, very far behind. Look at the reaction to this Turkish drama on Netflix, Demolished, which is taking the Muslim world by storm. Why? It doesn't have any special Hollywood epic scenes. It's only because the hero is somebody who believes his success comes from God or comes from his religion. In other words, this is there, it's deeply rooted in society. And the reason why I say this is because the implementation of liberalization as it's being advocated today is counter to what many people in the Arab society want. In other words, it's coming in as, you have to think about it. Why is liberalization in the Arab world? According to many Arabs, according to many Muslims, it is the result of a rabid colonial oppressor who came in and demolished an Islamic empire that had deviated from Islamic principles. So in other words, liberalization today is simply the victor imposing their own values on a people. The Arab societies are saying, look, you have a ready-made recipe for success. It is in Islam and Islamic principles. If we're talking about women's rights, Islam guarantees human rights. Pursue it in the framework of Islam.